Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, shalom to my YAHAWAH, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this foul captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nation, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawakub Commander with no lesson. Today's lesson is going to be on this, and I'm not going to lie, I don't fully know the best way to preface this. It's going to be a bit difficult for me in that regard, but I do want to say that I was listening to this debate a bit, and I feel like this is like one of the the best examples of Christian dishonesty that you can see. And I'm not going to link this in the description. I'm just showing you that this is what I was listening to and watching, because the fact of the matter is, the simple fact of the matter when it comes to anything, let's actually start off with that precept. Okay, so 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 15, but sanctify the Lord Yahawah in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Now, the thing about this, and you know what, I might make a second video on this that's completely separate. But anyway, the main thing about this is that if you believe something, and this was something that I feel like people don't think about, and they never ever want to actually confront this on their own. But the stuff is that if you say, I am a Christian, or I am a Muslim, or I am an atheist, or I am an Israelite, or whatever you decide, generally people tend to not really have or not really care enough to definitively work that out in their mind, that I believe in whatever I believe in because I worked it out, and I've come to a specific conclusion that is unique to me, that I believe in what I believe in. But the problem is that I can't work it out. I can't work it out to explain it in a proper train of thought. And I think that is one of the biggest things when it comes to, I think, most things in general, where people don't, where I'll say it's the main ones, which I will also say that yes, Muslims are a big number of that as well. But I think it's not even just Muslims or Christians. I think it's the three major religions. I think those are the most common things, because I think what's it called, what are the most common religions in the world, and does that include atheism? So the religiously unaffiliated, which okay, so yes, it's the third biggest. So people that are religiously unaffiliated, that is, actually that's kind of like not really fair, because they're grouping atheists and agnostics together, where agnostics, to my memory, they believe that there is a God, but they say that there's not enough information to know. But atheists just flat out say, oh, I deny, or I don't believe. So that's an unfair way to group them together. So I think that's pretty dumb. Aside from that, as I was saying before, the main thing about this is that the most common religion in the world, as we see right here, is that it's Christianity. Okay, so Christianity makes up 31% of the population according to the world, and I think it is safe to say, though it's not necessarily proven, it's not necessarily proven or even provable. I believe that based off of, a general assumption, I'll say that to be completely honest, not necessarily definitive, but to be completely honest, I believe a general assumption that is that a lot of Christians, they tend to break off of Christianity and go to some other sort of things. If not, they stay in Christianity and then they just say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian," but their actual actions don't line up with anything. So if anything, it kind of feels like the best identifier would be Christianity and agnostics kind of go hand in hand, because there's no real responsibility or practice that goes in the thing. Although quote unquote practicing Christians, quote unquote, would kind of not want to be associated with that if they had any sense of shame as well as pride in the things that they claim to follow. But again, let me get back to the original point, which the original point was that oftentimes people, they don't really have the capability or even go through the trouble of working out what they believe in their mind. So when they go into certain discussions which may or may not turn into debates, then they get confounded because they are asked questions that the other side actually thought of, and it's like, okay, well, this is a brand new world to me that I never knew I had to rationalize or even consider. All right, so as a result of that, that's where you get stuff like, oh, Christians versus Muslims, Christians versus Hebrew Israelites, Christians versus atheists, Christians versus whatever, and stuff like that, where you would think that as an Israelite, let's just take me for example, you would think that me as an Israelite, I would say, oh yeah, I'm all for the Christian debating the Muslim and the stuff like that. But no, I cannot in good faith, in good honesty, side with the Christian in a debate with Islam and Christianity. And notice my words here, because the debate is between Islam and Christianity, because Christianity is not no ally to me. Number one, the Christians already talk mad shit and deny us Israelites to begin with. That's number one. And number two, anyone that does not preach according to what the words of YAHAWAH says, then they are not an enemy. If that's like saying, oh, I'm going to side with a devil, or let me correct myself. I'm gonna side with another demon besides that's not Lucifer, if that devil is fighting against the main devil, Lucifer, whatever the fuck. Okay, so that's basically the thing. Like, why would I say, oh yeah, I'm all for the demon against the devil and stuff like that? Like, that's basically what choosing a side between one of those or the other entails. So hence, as a result of that, I don't think that, okay, yeah, I'm all for this guy's side, or I'm all for that person's side. If I see this by some reason or whatever, and I see, okay, the Muslim's getting humiliated, good for him, good. I'm happy that the Muslim's getting humiliated. If I see, oh, the Christian's getting humiliated, I'm also going to say, yes, I'm happy that the Christian is getting humiliated. And this is one of these examples, because whenever it comes to asking a question, an honest, direct, straight question, there is no simple yes or no answer. It's like there's no simple yes or no answer. It's like they cannot answer it because they know that what they say doesn't make any sense. All right. So as a result of that, that's why I was watching this, and even again,
They say the future.
oh my gosh, again, even though he's trying to fight on the side of the Bible, quote unquote Bible. It's not really the Bible, but you get the point. Even though he's trying to fight on that, but I'm not going to just be on his side, because he is using dishonest and taking stances that I do not agree with. So it's just like for example, for the Trinity thing. All right, if this Christian is arguing about the Trinity is real, Trinity that, and whatever, and the Muslim is debunking that, how am I going to just say, oh, I'm still going to side with the Christian because he's using the Bible and whatnot? No, that's a perfect example of why I am not going to affiliate with either side. I'm not going to side with either side. I'm not going to say, oh, good job Christian or good job Muslim, stuff like that, because both of them are objectively, I won't say objectively wrong. One of them might be saying some things are right. One of them might be saying some things that are wrong, but they don't have the 100% truth. Hence why I choose to say, okay, neither of them have my support. Neither of them are on my side. Neither of them this, that, and whatever. So, so again, hence why I have such a hard time, or okay, that's why it's so important. It's so imperative that when you believe something in general, you need to be able to understand that, okay, this is what you believe in, and this is how you go through the logic of why something is right or wrong. And the thing is, I think that in this debate, this was a perfect example of the Christian getting obliterated. All right, and which, by the way, like this was a perfect example of the Christian getting obliterated, but yet the viewers, they don't even see how he's getting destroyed, but also he doesn't want to address the thing, because that's the thing about Christianity and Christians in general. They can't like properly address things. They will always like sidestep, they will always deflect, they will always not fully come to terms with, oh, what does the scripture say? How do we address it? How do we fully acknowledge the things that are said in the scriptures? Because even then, when it comes to, like, say for example, the law, all right, they think that, oh yeah, what's it called, fucking, I don't know, oh, Yahawashi, he did away with the law, but the scriptures contradict that. All right, literal scriptures that us Israelites prove, all right, and show that is not the case. Okay, Yahawashi did not say, oh, you can do whatever you want and whatnot. We literally prove these different type of stuff, but yet again, it's never a matter of honesty. It's a matter of how do you invalidate and disqualify another person's argument in order to make it so that your belief, despite it being a lie, despite it being that you are trying to defend this false narrative, this false belief, all right, how do you make this seem true where it's all in attacking the other person and invalidating the other person, rather than definitively saying that I believe in this because this X, Y, and Z. And also, I also want to point out, because again, I'm not siding with with the Muslims, because the Muslims do the exact same thing, and I've seen that with the other things where the Muslims, they always try to say, oh, but not the Quran, the Bible does this, the Bible does that, and whatever, where they cannot fully justify their stance. They can't fully justify their belief in the stuff that they decide and the stuff that they choose. So as a result of that, that's where I just say, like, I'm not siding with either of them because they're both dishonest. Now, with that being said, let's continue on, Slakia. Okay. John 8:44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And that's, again, when it comes to lying, they are all there's no, like, if you one of the things about this is that when he was asking a question, all right, he was asking a question and he said yes or no, X, Y, and Z or whatever, stuff like that. And when the Christian, he could not answer it, he kept on trying to deflect, he kept on trying to attack the man as a man or as a person or as a whatever and stuff like that, because he doesn't want to deal with the stuff. If the thing is, whenever you know that you're right, whenever people know that they're right, they always choose to stand that I'm going to stand on what I know to be truth, rather than standing on attacking someone else because of X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. And that's the thing where people want, psychologically, okay, it's so easy for people to just say, okay, we are talking about cake, for example. We're talking about cake. Why would you want to move away from talking about cake if you are right that this is a cake and the cake is right there, it's alive, it's the truth and stuff like that, or whatever? But the person's saying, okay, no, it's a brownie, so let's talk about something else. And then they ask, okay, is this a brownie? All you have to do is just say, no, it's not a brownie, it's literally a cake. You can see that it's a cake, X, Y, and Z. But instead, we have this, oh, are you scared? Are you this? Are you that? Whatever, stuff like that. Like all this thing trying to attack someone, and not deal with the actual topic at hand. All right. Again, the dishonesty that comes with, being a Christian, because so many people nowadays are starting to see and open up their eyes to see that, okay, you know what, being a Christian is clearly not where it's at. And everybody, and Slaki, the Christian churches, as a matter of fact, are losing members at a astronomical rate. So, and even then with the statistic, by the way, this doesn't even go talk about the amount of people that are actually going to the church, because there are people that still claim Christianity, apparently, I'll just say apparently, that don't go to church. People say that, okay, well, I'm still a Christian, I still believe in God or whatever, but I don't mess with the church. The church is just a scam or this and a third, where what the Christian churches are mad about is they're mad at that they're losing attendance members, they're losing money, they're losing tithes and so all that stuff. They're mad that people are starting to realize that this scam that they're pushing is starting to be more clear. All right, let me get this. Is it rate? Bear with me. It's I think it's all right, so Romans chapter 13 verse 11, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So basically it's starting to get to the point where it's almost time that everyone starts to see that, okay, well, the fact of the matter, the truth of the matter is that we need to realize that this deception, this major deception, is a deception, and we can't keep allowing ourselves to keep on being fooled by it. All right, I think the church is one of the things I heard. I remember hearing something that so-called black households spend so much of their money not just on churches, but on like alcohol, like quick liquor stores and stuff like that. And what else? it's also Chinese, like, businesses and stuff like that, laundromats, and not laundromats, and just general, grocery stores and stuff like that. Like, their finances are sent to funding other nations rather than ourselves. And the Christian church is just a part of it. All right, but yet again, it doesn't go anywhere to helping our ethnic people out in terms of our finances collectively. All right. So with that in mind, so with that in mind, the main thing to remember is that we so the main thing to remember is that, when, as time goes on, we're starting to see that the wool is slowly, the deception is slowly starting to fade and stuff like that. People are starting to realize, okay, yeah, this is it, because a lot of us, we came out of the Christian church. All right, so as a result of that, the Lord gave us the eyes to see. That's basically what, that was the term that I wanted to use. The Lord gave us the eyes to be able to see through the deception. All right, now next I want to get this, because this was a part of it. Matthew chapter 5 verse 37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. So when, again, primarily in reference to Slakia, my throat is freaking killing me. As in reference to First Peter chapter 3 verse 15, where it says always be ready to give an answer. The thing here is that if someone's asking you a simple direct question, hey, do you believe in God? Not necessarily that, but sure, I guess let's just use that for example. Hey, do you believe in a God or whatever and stuff like that? Why do you have to say, well, actually, if you would have to define God, or you have to do this, you have to do that, and whatever stuff like that, and to get into the specifics and stuff like that, rather than just saying definitively yes, or yes, I believe in the God of the Bible, YAHAWAH, MANASHAH, XYZ, whatever. Or you can just say, no, I don't believe in any God because X, Y, and Z, whatever stuff, some shit like that and stuff like that. Like, it should be that simple to do something like that. But the issue, once again, it goes back into, well, this conflicts with their line of questioning is going to conflict with the smoke screen that we have established as Christians. So, and Muslims, if you want to go into that as well, but I'm not going to go into that. But basically, as a result of that, then I can't just allow them to do that, because even then, with this whole debate stuff, that's another reason why I hate debates. I stopped doing debates. The thing is that it's not about truth. It's not about sincerity. It's not about honesty. It's only about how do I not definitively, but how do I sidestep points? How do I not address the argument? How do I not be able to answer these questions that I myself should be able to understand on my own? Because why is it that you believe that someone's asking you a question on fucking is God a good person, stuff like that, and then you think that's just an example. I'm not saying it in general, but if someone's asking you, does God say that he's a good person, and you don't even know how to answer that yourself because you don't know the scriptures enough to be able to answer that question. So then you are over here thinking that, okay, well, I've been serving a God that he himself calls himself a bad person, when someone corrects me to saying or believing in something else where I don't know how to answer that, where I'm still over here like being absolutely confused by it. All right, and again, that's not even in reference to the Bible or the Quran. I'm just giving you an example so that you can understand like hypothetical situations. All right. So continuing on, Yes, basically, if someone's asking you about something, you should just you should the scriptures specifically say that you should be clear in saying yes or no and stuff like that. You're not this whole sidestepping or but in under certain circumstances, like nah, just it should just be something plain and simple. Continuing on, 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 33, for Yahawah is not the author of confusion but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. And again, this is another thing where YAHAWASHI is not the author of confusion. So if you are trying to be a representative of YAHAWASHI, how the hell are you going to be confusing? How are you going to not know what you're talking about if YAHAWASHI did not come to be confusion, to bring confusion, to be confusing and stuff like that, where his laws, statutes, commandments are very plain and clear. All right. So, what the hell did I? Oh wow, that's convenient. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 33. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manner. Okay. So again, like, where is the sincerity of your words if you aren't able to honestly address something? If someone's trying to ask you that, hey, why is this, why is that, what's the answer to the beliefs that you are following, if you can't even properly address that, okay, you believe in X, Y, and Z, you follow this, or the God of the Bible is X or is whatever, all right, you can't properly answer that, but you have to rely on underhanded tactics to address it or to dismiss something, then again, that's just something that is more on you as a false believer, more specifically, or a better term to use than the scripture, because rather than actually knowing what you want, knowing what you believe in, you're just a blind follower. But you're just a blind follower, and anyone can just come in here and entice you to say, oh, hey, don't you know that freaking Islam lets you have freaking whatever the stuff and stuff like that, whatever thing that they can offer you or stuff like that, where you say, oh, that sounds better, let me go to this instead, rather than just sticking to what I believe in or what I was whatever. Because while it's not, it's something that you are taught when you're younger, sure, to follow certain things, but when it comes to, when you think about it yourself and you're able to come to your own conclusion, then that's when it's like, okay, well, now there comes a time when it's like, okay, well, I think I want to be able to not necessarily discuss, but conclude on my own, which, even then when it comes to it, being able to have the right guidance, that's important. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahawah, Shem, Yahweh, Shabbat, Shem, Kwakwadah, Shabbat, honor to the elders and apostles, great most son of God, Shalom.